Hey there, in this video I want to talk about angle pairs, different kinds of angles, specifically identifying angles, and then how to measure or find the measures of certain pairs of angles. Many pairs of angles have special relationships, and that's kind of a fundamental piece of geometry. Some are because of their measurements, some of them have to do with their position. So when I take a look at this diagram here, you can see I've got a number of rays and angles that are formed. So for example, angle ABC would be a right angle. It's 90 degrees. You would say angle CBD. You know, let me just get out a little pen here. You guys probably like the old pen thing, right? So angle ABC, right, is a right angle, or 90 degrees. Look at that, gorgeous. Angle CBD would be acute because it is less than 90 degrees, right? So these types of things, right? Angle ABD, this angle here, like that, of course would be obtuse. Let's just go through them all, all right? Obtuse. And of course, angle ABE, this one here, which is formed by two opposite rays, ray BA and ray BE, would be called a straight angle. And of course, that has a measure of 180 degrees. STRAIGHT. Look at that, starting to write cursive. Wow, getting fancy. So anyway, these are measurements that are respective to their angles, but we're now going to talk about some other things that have to do with the position of the angle. So adjacent angles, linear pairs, complementary angles, supplementary angles, and vertical angles. Adjacent angles, you want to get this into your vocab sheet, are angles that are next to each other. They share, they're in the same plane with a common vertex and a common side, but no common interior points. So what we're talking about here is angles 1, all those points are adjacent to all these points, but they are not in the same. And that doesn't mean these angles have to be the same measure, but they are just next to each other because they share this ray or this side right in the middle. When we talk about a linear pair, we're talking about angles whose non-common sides, so they're also adjacent, right? They share this ray, but their non-adjacent sides, or non-common sides, are opposite rays. So again, from here over, and from here over. Now you would say, well, wait a minute. These rays here are opposite rays, right? That means that this entire angle is 180 degrees. And that means these two are supplementary. And of course, you're right. You're just jumping ahead. So let's try this right now. Tell whether the angles are only adjacent and form a linear pair, or not adjacent. Well, angle DEC, so we're practicing DEC. So this is the old identification game. And AEB. Well, wait a minute. These aren't even adjacent. They don't have anything in common. So we would say not adjacent. Let me pull out my highlighter and we'll say not adjacent. When we talk about complementary and supplementary, complementary are two angles whose measures have a sum of 90 degrees. So A and B, they're not adjacent, right? They don't share any common rays, but when you add 53 and 37, you do get 90. So these are complementary angles, but they're not adjacent angles. Similarly, supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. So angle C and B, 127 and 137 do add up. Do those even add up? No, sorry, that's wrong. Mr. Rising, what are you doing? Go back. C and A, if I just read the text, are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. Again, they're not adjacent, but they do add up to 180. So you can find the measure of a complement by subtracting its measure from 90, or 90 minus x. The same thing is true as you can find the supplement of an angle by subtracting 180 from its measure. Okay, what does that mean? Well, here, let's try this. Find the complement and supplement of each angle. Well, if angle F is 59 degrees, then its complement is 90 minus 59, and that's 31. Its supplement would be 180 minus 59, and that is 121. So far, so good. When you look at angle G, the same pattern is true. So what we're saying is, hey, wait a minute. Go find, use the same pattern. If you want to find the complement, 90 minus the angle measure, which is 7x plus 10. It's an algebraic expression. And when you simplify that, you know that the complement, the measure of the complement, is 80 minus 7x. And if you want to find the supplement of angle G, well, you'd say it's 180 minus 7x plus 10. And that simplifies into the supplement being 170 minus 7x. All right, check it out, number 3. I believe it's on page 29. It's on page 29 in your, let me just write that down, page 29. This is a great problem, and I would recommend you to just try this problem right now. Pause the video and then come back. Okay, you've tried the problem. An angle's measure is 12 degrees, I don't have a degree symbol on my keyboard, more than half the measure of its supplement. Find the measure of the angle. Step 1, it says here, find the measure of the angle, which means I am not leaving this problem until I find the measure of the angle. And you'll see an angle's measure. And that should have an apostrophe there. So, right off the bat, please do this. Make a little space for yourself. I am not leaving until I find angles measure. Measure. Sorry that looks so bad, but just you'll get over it. I know you guys, you're adaptable. So I am not leaving this problem until I fill in this blank. The measure of the angle. Okay, so it says an angle's measure is 12 degrees more than half the measure of the supplement. That means angle A, and so we'll say this is A. The measure of angle A. Of angle A. So I'm not leaving this problem until I fill in this blank. So the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equals 180. That's given. Hey, welcome back from that brief intervention. I thought I would just type some things out to make it a little more clear. I think my handwriting and the mouse is just getting confusing. So again, we're on page 29. We're trying to find the measure of angle A. We're not leaving the problem until we fill in that answer. And we know that an angle A plus its complement B have to add up to 180. So let's walk through the problem. First of all, A plus B equals 180, right? Two angles. And it says here an angle's measure is 12 more than. So when I think of that angle A, the measure of angle A equals 12 more than, I don't know, so it's plus 12, something plus 12. Well, what's the something? Is 12 more than half the measure of its supplement. Half the measure of the supplement would be, well, half of B. Whatever B is, it's half of it. So how you'd write that is you'd say A equals 1/2 B plus 12. So A equals 1/2 B plus 12. Now that I know what angle A is, the measure of angle A, in terms of B, I can substitute this whole string in for A. And that's what I'm doing in this step. So 1/2 B plus 12 plus a B equals 180. Now we're back to algebra. Combine like terms. 1B plus 1/2 of B is 3/2 B. Plus 12 equals 180. Let's subtract 12 from both sides. Now, what I like to do is just multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3/2 is 2/3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2/3. And 180 minus 12 is 168. And that simplifies. B is 112. The measure of angle B is 112. Am I done? No! Now I need to go back and plug it in here. So if I know that the measure of angle B, so A plus 112 equals 180, how am I going to solve that? Well, I'm going to subtract 112 from both sides. Let's just go ahead and do that. Minus 112. You can't see it because it's behind the writing. Let me just move this over. Right, so I'm subtracting 112 from both sides, and lo and behold, A equals 68. And of course, 68 and 112 does add up. So let me just put that in right here. So I've got 68 degrees. And I have finally answered the problem. I think we just got 2 more things for you, and then I'm gonna let you go. First of all, you'll see this example in your book. Light passing through a fiber optic cable reflects off walls in such a way that angle 1 is congruent to 2, and 1 and 3 are complementary, and 2 and 4 are complementary. Wow, they give you a lot of information there. Well, if the measure of angle 1 equals 47 degrees, what we're saying is this angle here is 47. Find the measure of angle 2, 3, and 4. Okay, well, first of all, it says angle 1 is congruent to 2, and congruent means it also has the same measurement. So I know this one is 47 degrees. And then, if I want to find, if it says 1 and 3 are complementary, 1 and 3 are complementary, and 2 and 4 are complementary, well, 90 minus 47 is 43. So that means these angles 3 and 4 are also 43 degrees. Last thing I want to touch on here are vertical angles. And vertical angles are a pair of angles that are formed from 2 non-adjacent angles formed by intersecting lines. So just look at it here. Angles 1 and 3 are vertical. Now you may say, Mr. Rising, aren't they also congruent? Well, think about that. See if you could prove it. Could you prove to me that angles 1 and 3 are congruent? They have the same measure? How would you do it? And angles 2 and 4 are vertical angles. And you may say to me, well, they're also congruent. But how? How could you prove that they're congruent? And we're going to be doing a lot more with proofs later on. That's all I want to do here today. I hope this was helpful talking about pairs of angles. We're talking about the pair of angle by its measurement and also by its position. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.